like 6'6", almost 7 feet. Nice viewing port. I'll have a curtain on that, of course. Lots of hinges on the door. I got 4 right now because they're kind of small. It's just what I had. Nice slanty roof. Good support. But me and Susie are up at the homestead this weekend. Here's a nice drippy one, Shalisa. We'll be collecting off of that and this. There's some nice boogers on it. Got a little stockpile up there. But it turns out, I thought this was all white pine. Turns out it's all red pine and Scots pine. I mean, there's a few white pines, but not as many as I thought. So let's go take a walk around. I own a little ways out into that hay field. I think out to that kind of single pine all by itself, and then straight back. So there's the lay of the land. I own, or we own, all the way to the tall woods back there. So all this pine grove is ours. This is awesome. Great for deer hunting. I can't wait to get some blinds back here on the good runways. I do have a power line overhead, but that's no big deal. A little swampy area. That's my view from the back. That's my nearest neighbor, a little farmstead, related to the people that used to own this house. Our homestead is Mom and Pop's old place. So all the kids own property around this. Here's a major deer runway right here. Hot diggity dog. In a good spot for a blind right back there. So I figured we'd just take a walk around, check it out. Turn you back on in a minute. Found a really huge patch of wild strawberries. Might have to come back here with a mower and mow a big patch in here so they can get some sunlight and actually produce some strawberries. This is a nice Y pattern in a deer run. One goes that way, another one goes out through that opening. What a great spot. Hoping to maybe jump a partridge or a rabbit. That would be cool. We're already creating some brush piles to bring in rabbits. Nice and thick and cool. I don't know if these all grew from seed. These here almost look like they're in a straight line, like they might have been planted. I'm not sure. There are red pines in the tall woods, the mature woods. So it could be seeds or whatever. And we got raspberries up near the house, up the wazoo, so that's awesome. Make some jelly, maybe some raspberry pancakes. Uh-oh, I see bones. A bone. Looks like a short cow bone or something. Something's been gnawing on it. Getting the calcium. Could have been brought in from a coyote, which would be cool. So I'll continue on. Some good thickets back here. More bones. The mystery, the saga continues. And more bones. That's got to be cow. That's pretty big. Another one over there, or a horse. That right there looks like it's been cut. So this might have been the remnants of a butchering. There's the other pelvic bone. Some spine. Cool. Those are interesting. Might have to make a wind chime. No partridge or rabbits yet. Let's see what happens when we get up next to the mature growth. Turn you back on. Anything interesting? Here's a nice low spot towards the back of the property. Got cattails and stuff, so it must stay wet pretty much all year. Old swamp grass, sawgrass, whatever they call it. Thinking about dredging this out just a few inches, like a foot or two. Yeah, it's pretty soft. To make a little wild duck pond. That would be awesome. Be able to sneak to the back of the property and hunt ducks. But I don't think it'd take much dredging just to get a little bit of standing water. Like a foot or two is all you need for wild ducks. That's what they like, so they can reach the bottom and feed off the bottom weeds. Nice little open area. We'll continue on. Very cool. Come up on one of the few birches we have on the property. Big, mature, beautiful one. Plenty of fire starter. A lot of goldenrod. Here's a little tip for ice fishermen. See these little balls on there? You can harvest them in the fall and there'll be a nice little white grub in there. Great for ice fishing. Beautiful white birch. There's a couple more, but they're kind of sickly. There's one over there that's just dead. So that will be harvested and utilized. This is the highest point on our property. You can see it's a pretty nice little knoll. That's the mature woods. There's poplar, oaks, you know, typical. There's some lowland over there. Ooh, guess what? I just found another apple tree with big, beautiful apples on it. Score! Looks like rather nice apples. Bet you this is a deer magnet. Yeah, that birch is ready for harvest, I'd think. And there's, I think she petered out. There's a little bit of green, or was green on the bottom, but it looks like it's stroked out. Look at this big, beautiful wild apple. Compare it to my hand. Look at that. That's as big and beautiful as any grocery store. And I bet you it tastes a lot better. Almost harvest time. And there is quite a few on this tree. Really nice ones up there. Awesome. That's the third one. We got two nice apple trees right up by the road. And look at all the deer traffic underneath it. It is just, oh my God, it smells like apples under here like you wouldn't believe. It is just trampled with deer tracks. Score. Nice woodpecker patterns. That's cool. Yeah, this is just packed right down from deer. Look at all the tracks. Nice. Coming right in through the swamp grass. Was a birch here. I'll be peeling the bark off of that and saving it. Oh, look at this trail. Raccoons or deer, probably both. Right up and over the knoll. Talking about a nice vantage spot. Look at that view. The neighbor's barn or cabin. This is at the back. Wow, that tree is loaded on the sunny side. Got some nice white pines here and there. And some red, possibly some Scots. Needles are kind of long though. Could be jack pine. A lot of pine cones. You tell me, Shalisa. We were thinking seriously about, I don't want to interrupt the natural flow of the critters, but could you see sitting in a nice screened in gazebo back here? A little permanent camp. My property ends at that tree line, but this is awesome back here. This would be the place for the house. Shows you, let me show you what the elevation. I'm close to the top of those pines over there, and those pines are probably 20 or 30 feet tall. So it's quite a mound. Some dead wood up here. Looks like pine or spruce maybe. Good and hard. Could be some fat wood in that. Worth a check, see? So it's pretty nice. Big mature poplar. I think I own into that woods like 20, 30 feet, maybe 50. Which is cool. But I love this view back here. Big giant crop field, usually hay. And the house is that way. So what do you think, gazebo? Build a log cabin back here? Or just leave it el natural? Oh good, more raspberries back here too. Nice patch all along this edge. This is probably where the partridge and rabbits will be hanging. Alright, turn you back on when I find something interesting. I am loving discovering new stuff. Alright, so we have the apple tree underneath the birch, and then right next to it I can see another apple tree. See that cluster of apples? So no wonder the deer are hanging there. And bear probably, raccoon, right next to each other. Too cool. Ooh, dead elm tree. Mushroom spot. A little bit of sun, a little bit of shade. I don't see any remnants, but I will be looking back here in the spring. I see them right at the edge of a little cedar swamp. Kind of low and wet. This is probably where the water's coming from. I'm trying to find my south fence. I don't know where it is. We'll see. Alright, I found a fence. There's a fence post right about there. Right here is an old farm fence. It's a fence. I don't know if it's the fence. Probably is. But it's right at the edge of that cedar swamp. So some of these big poplars are on my side. If that's a fence, we're going to have it surveyed just to make sure, so we get along good with the neighbors. Because my neighbor on the north side has a old cow fence up, just electric wire, single. Another nice birch, and a younger, oh, a nice little cluster. Sweet. We planned on planting some birch. Look how that tree grew right through that post. Nice fit. This almost looks like a river birch. I'm not sure. It might be white birch just because it's grown in the shade, but looks like a subspecies. So this is where the wet's coming from. And hopefully there's like a little tiny trickle. Nice spruce. Few spruce over here, a couple of white pines, and then some red or jack, I'm not sure. I found a dead apple tree too, which could be turned into some beautiful bowls. So anyhow, we're going to have it surveyed and find exactly where the fences are, because I think the neighbor to my north is encroaching by about 30-40 feet, which I don't have an issue with. It just kind of cramped right up against the house. And here is a huge deer trail. Nice. This must be the main east and west trail. Nice open spot. So they're huntable, depending on the wind direction. I could get a stand up over in there, or over in this cluster. Awesome. Stay tuned for the harvest. All kinds of fresh tracks on here. Turn you back on when I get a little closer to the front. Very interesting. Like a node or something growing on a little pine branch. Feels kind of rotted, but might go on the lathe. The whole tree is kind of ill, dead. But I just jumped a partridge back there, which is awesome. Oh, there's the fence. I just found another fence post. If it's the fence. Kinda looks like it is. That's good. I got more actual woods than I thought. I thought it was just the pine thicket. So there's the fence post. And straight that way is the road. So I'm thinking the fence line's right through that clearing. So I got quite a bit of forest. Small, mature forest. Continue on that way. But I come across something interesting. Nice little poplar grove over there, and another low spot. But what I come across, and you can see this from Google Earth, nice open area where we're getting back into the pines. Looks like a deer bed. Awesome. Is this remnants of a shed? Looks like maybe a small cow barn, I'm thinking. They have to be cleaned up. I checked into it earlier, and the even all the timbers are pretty rotted, so I don't think it can be reused. But right beside it is this big old mound covered in grass now. And I'm thinking that might be a big old poo pile, which would be epic for the garden. This thing's as big as a small truck, so that'd be killer fertilizer for the garden when I get my tractor and the front end loader. And it's not too far, maybe 70 yards from the garden area that we plan on having the garden. So this walks through this poplar grove out into the hay field. I should say our hay field. That's another kind of a wet area that goes right behind the house. I like this kind of woods. Could be thinned out and we'd have a never-ending poplar firewood, which is kind of gopher wood, but it helps in a pinch. And there's deer trails through it, which is awesome. And old rubs, which is awesome. Nice old rub, bunch of them, whole cluster. Which brings us out onto main deer trail going to the front. And I'll show you why in a minute. Here is our farmable hayfield. Pretty good size. I'm guessing about an acre, maybe an acre and a half. Up at that light pole is about the corner of the property. Where is it? Right there. So we have yet to have the power turned on. There's the house. It is gonna need a shit ton of work. But we have a livable area right now. That's deer trail. The first growth that comes up is all baleable grass. This all this goldenrod is like a secondary growth. The grass always comes up first. It's a beautiful little hayfield. Good spot to drop fawns. Our little shack. It's actually a big, pretty good sized house. Everything's going to be fixed up, straightened out, brought up to par, make it livable. We got one section right now that's livable, about the size of a big tiny house. So that's where we're going to stay as we fix it up, room by room. My neighbor across the street, I think he's a part-timer. Nice pole barn though. A little bit of a cabin for living quarters. And here's what the deer are coming from. Actually, it's got a nice tractor under that overhang. I wonder if he might sell it. Two small but very productive apple trees in the front. It's just as big as the one from out back. Tasted one last night and it was pretty tart. I think these are the same or slightly different. But up towards the top, of course, the bigger ones. Beautiful spruce in the front. Old abandoned house over there. Probably the original farmstead. Apple trees all over the place. And the deer know it. So that's kind of the tour of the property. Stay tuned. This will be the first upload for the homestead, maybe second. We're getting her patched little by little, piece by piece. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not. I'd appreciate it. And have a wonderful afternoon. Play nice.